The next big evolutionary advantage that we see is the amniotes form. And so instead of just being a tetrapod that is amphibious, where you are tied to the water because you have to lay your eggs in the water, we now create an egg that is safe from desiccation or drying out on land. The amniotic egg is a way to protect the embryo while still providing the nutrients it needs for development. So what did this do for us? Well, reptiles and birds and mammals all have a shelled egg. In humans, our egg isn't in a shell externally, but our eggs are inside, and our body, our ovaries, host these shells, right? And they grow inside our uterus. So we still have that protective aspect, right? The other critical innovations that occur in order for us to conquer the land and get away from staying on top of that water all the time are internal fertilization, our excretory system expanding to include kidneys, which conserve our water, the thoracic breathing, and desiccation-resistant skin. The first time we see all of these things come together are in reptiles. There are 4 main groups of reptiles today. The Testudines, so turtles and tortoises, terrapins, and they have been around for 200 million years. They have not really changed. They don't have teeth, but they do have like a sharp beak that they can use for protection and eating and even predation. And their vertebrae and ribs are fused to their shell for the most case, and their hard protective shell is what's keeping them safe, and also it's keeping their water in. Then we go to the Squamata, and these are lizards and snakes, and they have a kinetic skull with mobile joints. And what this means is they can unhinge their jaw. Their skull is not fused together, so it can move and allow things to expand so its jaw can open fully and eat things that are bigger than the restraint of just opening your mouth, right? Lizards also have movable eyelids and external ears, which allow them to be able to see their predators and tiny insect prey much more easily. We also have crocodilia, which are crocodiles and alligators, also 200 million years, no changes, right? And they have 4-chambered hearts instead of 3 chambers. They have teeth in their sockets, not like the chondrichthyes where they just fall out. They actually have things that stay in their mouth, and then they care for their young. And then we have aves, which is birds. They have warm body temperature. Instead of being cold-blooded, they're warm-blooded. They have double circulation and 4-chambered hearts. They have very acute vision. From high up, you can see birds flying and seeing small things on the ground they can come and get, right? Most of them are carnivores. They do lay their eggs. They offer incredibly complex courtship rituals, and there are over 9,600 species of them, quite a bit. But there are other extinct clades of reptiles that we see, like the dinosaurs, right? And ichthyosaurs and pliosaurs and pterosaurs, all kinds of different things that existed at one time that are no longer here. Our next class are the birds, right? The aves. And 4 features that are unique to birds allow them to be able to fly. First of all, their bones are really light. They're hollow, almost like honeycomb inside of them. Their sternum anchors their flight muscles. They don't have teeth, right? They have their beak. They have air sacs that fill up to help make their breathing more efficient. And they also have a reduction in organs. So they have a single ovary and no urinary bladder. That's why when birds fly over, what happened? Right? They have nothing that's controlling things not storing it and then coming out. Their feathers are modified scales, and they keep birds warm, but also they created a secondary function that helps enable flight. Remember, this ties back into our discussion about Darwin and how structure determines function. And over time, adaptation to the environment has evolved a severe, drastic number of different types of bird beaks and bills, right? All these different bird beak shapes are adapted or attuned to gathering their type of food in their type of environment, whether it be needle-like or scooping or cracking beak. All of these things make it easier for those organisms to survive and flourish in their environment with their particular food source. Finally, we come to the mammals. Mammals produce milk. They do have amniotic eggs, but they also produce live young, right? We are evolved from amniote ancestors, and our division happened earlier than the division from birds. Birds came from the reptiles, and mammals evolved around about 225 million years ago. And until the dinosaurs were extinct, mammals remained very tiny, right? We talked about that tiny body size keeping them safe from the predation of dinosaurs. After the dinosaurs went extinct, that's when mammals flourished. And you can see we have rodents, we have bats, we have shrews and other tiny organisms. But then we get to primates and carnivorous organisms. We see different deer and antelope, cattle, all kinds of camels and pigs. We see kangaroos, rabbits, whales, horses, zebras, rhinoceros, tigers, duck-billed platypus, elephants, and of course, our favorite, humans. Some of the most distinguishing characteristics mammals have are mammary glands, so we feed our young through milk that our body produces. Also, we have hair, which is an incredible insulator. We are endothermic, and so we need to keep ourselves warm. We have sensation vibrissae, which the hair also acts for defense. So you can tell when things are happening if your hair stands up, right? Like a porcupine, or camouflage as well, so you can blend in. We have specialized teeth, incisors, canines, premolars, all adapted for our different diets. So we have flat grinding molars or incisors that are sharp to bite things, canines that are for ripping, tearing, and killing, things like that, right? So some are more carnivorous, some are more adapted to the environment that they live in, like with the beaver, and then some are more like herbivore style, and humans, being omnivores, have multiple forms of many kinds of teeth. We also have enlarged skulls, and they protect our big old brains, and we have a jawbone on the bottom with 3 bones that are called ossicles in the middle ear. All of these are unique to mammals. There are a few major clades of mammals that we look at. The first are our monotremes, and these are the platypus or echidna. They lay eggs. They lack a placenta. They have poorly developed nipples because they lay eggs and they're not that nursing their young isn't as developed with this prototheria, monotremes. We also have theria. So these are marsupials, right? They're like koala bears and like kangaroos, things like that. They have a pouch to carry their young. Some of them are found in North America, like the possum, but most of them are in Australia. And they have very underdeveloped young, and it hangs out in their pouch to finish development, which is what the marsupium is. And then we have eutheria, which are the placental mammals. And so those are complex placenta, which creates a more prolonged gestation. So humans, obviously, they consider it 40 weeks, and it allows the organisms to be more developed at birth. And then they have a longer longevity as well.